It's a bad news, a bad day for some Tennessee Democrats. Listen to this. Top Tennessee Democratic Party official snubs reaching out to Trump voters, and he's called them idiots, as a matter of fact. Yeah, listen to the story. You know, one of the things, and we've been keeping an eye on this race between, of course, Phil Bredesen and Marsha Blackburn for Bob Corker's Senate seat. We've been watching this for quite some time. And one of the things that Phil Bredesen is trying to do is he's really trying to portray himself as somebody who wants to reach across the aisle. It's not about President Trump. It's not about all of this divisive, angry, vitriolic politics. No, it's about reaching across the aisle to work with the Republicans. That is what Phil Bredesen has been trying to say. But is that really what he means? Now, you know where I stand on all this. There are a lot of people like Phil Bredesen. As a matter of fact, this is a guy who a lot of people in Tennessee like what he did for Nashville, like what he did for the state of Tennessee. But the question is, when you find out that some of these folks in the party of the Democrats here in Tennessee, when they're calling us idiots, what does that tell you about the true intention of the Democrats here in Tennessee? Do you really think that Phil Bredesen, based on some of the people that are within the party and working for him, when you find out that they are calling Trump supporters idiots, do they really mean it when they say that they want to reach across the aisle? Mark Brown is a top Tennessee Democratic Party communications official who is communicating his hatred for Donald Trump and his supporters, including a lot of you. Now, the reason why this is so important is because I've been saying all along that I don't really believe that Phil Bredesen, if he is voted into the Senate, I don't really believe he is somebody who wants to reach across the aisle. I think that he will be bought and paid for by Chuck Schumer. And you got some people that say, well, that's okay. Other people say, well, I believe Phil Bredesen when he says that he wants to reach across the aisle. Well, when you hear what some of these top Democratic Party communications officials are saying, you might want to think again. Again, the guy's name is Mark Brown, and he made disparaging comments about President Donald Trump and lashing out against suggestions to reach out to Trump voters, describing them as idiots. Now, this guy is a top communications official for the Tennessee Democratic Party, currently working as the leading spokesperson to help Democrat Phil Bredesen win the Senate race against Marsha Blackburn, the Republican. Now, one of the things that I would wonder, and Belle, if you could maybe Google this for me, can you find out, has Phil Bredesen come out and admonished this Mark Brown, who is a top communications official for the Tennessee Democrats? Has Bredesen come out and condemned these comments, calling Trump supporters idiots? I want to know. I am probably one of many inquiring minds. Anyway, this guy, Mark Brown, again, a top communications official, has made a number of over-the-top comments on social media, including calling the president F-stick, right, the F word and then stick, and also calling the president Putin's B word. You know, it's not really all that creative, I would say, to Mark Brown, top communications official for the Tennessee Democratic Party, currently working as the leading spokesperson to help Democrat Phil Bredesen win the Senate race. I mean, I can't tell you how many people on the left that I've heard call President Trump Putin's B word. It's almost one of their little Twitter-type messages. That is according to the Washington Free Beacon, by the way. So he starts talking about in some of these social media posts, F reaching out to Trump voters. I'm trying to do this without, accidentally spewing the F word all over the radio. He says the idiots aren't listening, Brown wrote in one of the tweets from back in 2017. In other tweets, he also called Trump a effing moron and insane F word. This is a top communications official for the Tennessee Democratic Party, Mark Brown. The revelations of Brown's troubling remarks on social media came as Bredesen, this is so funny, as Bredesen complained about Vice President Mike Pence's name-calling after he endorsed Marsha Blackburn, calling him a liberal, So I just want to make sure we all have this right. All right. So I do want to make sure that I understand what Phil Bredesen and the Democrats are saying. Mike Pence is name calling if he refers to Bredesen as a liberal, but it's okay to call the president and all of his supporters idiots and the F word. I want to make sure that you understand. I mean, it goes on and on. Brown's online comments.
I can't find anything to answer your question.
No condemning from Phil Bredesen.
Nope.
He
does seem to be offended that he was called liberal. Though.
Yes, I know. Yeah, that's
the important part, obviously.
I'm curious. Has Phil Bredesen condemned a top communications official for the Tennessee Democratic Party? Has Bredesen condemned these words at all? And I guess the other question is, okay, well, so can you condemn Bredesen for not condemning what this guy Mark Brown had to say and has to say about you and President Trump? Now, I don't recall ever saying anything this angry and vitriolic about Hillary, and it's all been, frankly, about her policies and so on, because we always hear about, oh, well, what did you say about Hillary? What did you say about Maxine Waters? What did you say about, Chuck Schumer and all these folks? Oh, listen, it's all about the policies. And I don't know if I've ever said anything, even off the air, is nasty about some of these folks as this guy is saying on social media. But see, to me, the reason why there's no condemning from Phil Bredesen or the Democrats is because this is how they really feel, and they're proud of it. They are proud that they have this opinion. So whether it's this guy, this top communications official for the Tennessee Democrats, spewing all of this hatred, or some jackhole taking a pickaxe to Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, anybody else surprised by these comments? No, I'm certainly not. Brown's online comments about ignoring Trump voters may hurt the party's Senate candidate in the Senate, who promised to go beyond party lines and work with everyone as Trump won Tennessee, as we all know, by 26 points. See, it's all about what they're trying to sell you, right? So you got Bredesen, and I'm not going to play the commercials or anything. That's, frankly, I don't want to do that. But you got Bredesen out there saying that, he would reach across party lines and he would do all of these things. And to me, they're trying to sell you a line. They're trying to sell you an idea that they are willing to be bipartisan, when we know that that's not going to be the case. And so lucky for, not really for us, those of us here at WTN and you listening to WTN, not really surprising to us. However, there may be some moderates on either side of the aisle that might be surprised by this. Now, if you were somebody, and I hear from people all the time talking about how, I can't stand Marsha Blackburn. She's part of the establishment and all of these other things that I hear all the time. And listen, I get it. Trust me when I say I get it. I understand. I do. But when you look at the words of the top communications official for the Tennessee Democratic Party, currently working as the leading spokesperson to help Democrat Phil Bredesen win the Senate race, that tells you who's being honest and who's not being honest. At least in this case, as opposed to some of these really dishonest attack ads that we've been talking about and hearing for the past 18 weeks, at least we have someone on the left who is being honest about their true intentions. At least we have somebody who's being honest about how they really feel and about how they have absolutely no intention of reaching across the aisle. Because after all, we're just a bunch of effing idiots. Scott Golden, the chairman of the Tennessee Republican Party, telling the Free Beacon that the hateful comments from the Democratic Party's official were reprehensible. Not surprising, but reprehensible. And called him a professional Twitter troll who just said what his party thinks about Trump. Well, again, with all due respect to Scott, I don't know him, never met him, as far as I know. But, we've all known how the Democrats feel about President Trump. We've always known about how the Democrats feel about Trump supporters. You don't have to be a quote-unquote professional Twitter troll to be somebody who is absolutely hateful of President Trump and all those who voted for him. So here's what Golden says. He says, and again, Scott Golden is the chairman of the Tennessee Republican Party. Tennessee Democratic Party spokesman Mark Brown has been doing Bredesen's dirty work and expressing his party's true sentiments about President Trump. Phony Phil. You know what? That's it. You know that people are going to start hashtagging Phony Phil. Phony Phil Bredesen is complaining about the vice president calling him out for what he is, a liberal. Golden said. Meanwhile, professional Twitter troll and Tennessee Democratic Party spokesman Mark Brown has been doing Bredesen's dirty work and expressing his party's true sentiments. Hashtag Phony Phil Bredesen. I would say thank you to Mark Brown. At least you're being honest. At least you're being honest. The Tennessee Democratic Party did not return a call to Fox News and a request there for comment. So I will have to see what happens.